attribute of God being al-awwal, he's the first. And also al-akhir, this is the confirmation. Not only is everything in existence temporal, not only does everything in existence have a point of origin, everything in existence will have a point of expiration. It has a start and it will have an ending, just as you do. Just as you do in this phase of your existence, you have a start and you will have an ending. Everything else has a start and will have an ending. So if I were to boil this down into concrete, easy to understand language, some religious communities believe that time is circular. Muslims believe that time is linear. It has a beginning, and it has an end. It starts from a place, time and space start from a place, and they end at a place. God, on the other hand, is circular, eternal. Allah has no beginning, and Allah has no ending. Right? He is the Alpha, and He is the Omega. He has no beginning. There is no point at which God did not exist. There is overlap here between the name Al-Awwal and Al-Akhir and As-Samad. As-Samad means that necessarily existed. See, your existence is contingent. You don't exist necessarily. You exist contingently. You could exist, or maybe you would not exist. It was God's choice to bring you into existence. I remember, man, this is deep, because I can't believe I'm quoting the rapper Kevin Gates. Gates, this is Al-Hikmah Gates Senior. Gates. Somebody was interviewing Gates, and Gates in his Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Gates said, I mean, if you think about it, your mother was impregnated, and there were millions of, sperm cells that could have, fertilized that egg. You really think you were just that lucky that you really just one in millions of? He said, man, God chose you. God chose you. He said, bro, your spirit already holy. Bro, your spirit already holy. Right? God chose you. But what that means is that maybe what if God didn't choose you? What if when Jason, where's your time? Where? Oh, that's right. You like you with AIC now. That's right. I saw the announcement. Welcome back. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm not all the way back yet.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna be booked until like October-ish, inshallah. But meanwhile, I had to come here and have some in person.
Allah. Okay. Oh, really?
Okay, so I'll leave it at that I've been doing other stuff. So I've been monitoring like 3 years now. So the city is not. This is what I have. See the bunch of bananas. And it got some yellow stuff. And it's actually enough for you to take. So I say to myself, I'm gonna come back in 3 days. And the bananas are all. But now it's 7 months. Why would I have that?
Allah.
So that's how I feel about the city. because, you know, like, typically,
Oh,
yeah,
I mean, they have train options for that.
I'm not good with that. Because the thing is, it's like when you're already accustomed to seafood and that one. It's kind of like that. You do not, you know, like, once an hour, you know that.
Still have remote days.
Okay, sure. Yeah, most of my days will be remote. I'll only be in office like a maximum of 3 days. And that's not even that. You know, the beauty of that. Plus, most of my work is project based, you know what I mean? So it's not like I have to sit here and be like, oh, I need to be here at a hard time and end at a hard time. And then my next project is kind of sad, so, no, technically. As long as I'm not. Right, that's fair. That's all good.
I don't think we have recognized this. It's, and that's what I'm doing. Basically, that's what I'm doing.
You know what I mean? And me, I'm building different systems.
Wow.
Systems, policies, and protocols from scratch. I'm actually gonna get more work done being at home than being in the office, just because a lot of my time is gonna need to be spent with my assistant and I have a social person. Like on site. Yeah, I mean, it's a school, so yeah, you know, that every person talking to each other type of atmosphere is really like.
Yeah.
Which, you know, they just had a but for the most part, I don't require that except for when I'm talking to external people. You know, my interaction with the team members is going to be curated. So that I can, what I have to do.
That was left in today, but I was at work, so I was.
Oh,
I think I was in the office. Then I, oh, so the snacks, I came out of the office. Snack. I was doing it, see what I had. But I was curious to see like, what does that say about actually? That's what it was. 2 hours and 53 minutes. I expect to find it. They said people use their time, they like 40 minutes of just socializing. An hour and something, easy. 44 minutes looking for a new job. 40 minutes socializing. Hour and like 26 minutes. It was funny, I was sharing with some of my coworkers. I was like,
I mean, there's a lot of overinflation about how much time is actually needed in
yeah.
order to execute really.
Especially post-COVID.
Yeah. And so, and this is why I really stress the importance of billable hours versus hours. Right? Because it's like, if you want me to, when I have to pay, for example, 6 hours in order to do it, it might take me to, like, you're determining that the value of what I'm doing costs you 6,
Right.
so I'm gonna charge you that. So this is kind of different. Yeah, I really lean into that when I'm doing my consulting fees.
Oh, so this is different. So
Oh,
something in that, oh yes, it did say something about an hour and 5 minutes reading news websites, 25 to 90 minutes, focus on the intellectual attention category. 70% time spent in meetings.
Oh my God, the time, the time gobble that is in there. Jesus Christ.
I started limiting the time, like, I used to set them an hour, now they're 30. Sometimes I try to finish this, I have to pull down. And I think about I don't want to sound like a situation where you have to give an answer, and somebody else has to like elaborate on it for 30 minutes.
You mean do that this Monday at full place? Million meeting Monday.
I just thought of that. It's just called a meeting Wednesday. Or just like, instead of a week or prep day or something.
Right.
Like shut it down.
Just-
Just nobody-
You don't really need to be here, like your fellows all come in, eat this month's days of drum and crap for a meeting and they do a whole bunch of things. You don't care about this. You don't really care about it either, what's that?
Yeah, actually, I started sort of my meetings and even everybody on the agenda before, you got anything to add? Up here now.
Exactly.
And I'm like, somebody's arguing, I was like, you got 2 more minutes, right? And then I just like, we gotta go. We're gonna do something else.
Be like, yeah, you know what? Oh, you think about that, why don't you add that onto the agenda for the next meeting, we're gonna want to add
Yeah.
for the next time.
Trying to be like considerate of people's time too. You know, 2 hours, 50 minutes working a day out of it. Hear what people would say. I don't know, I need to look at like the company's business. Our 5 minutes news websites, check social media. Talk about non-related work. I think searching with questions. Yeah.
What's wild is that next person making the time.
I know.
And then I was like, check my accents. And I was like,
That's really what I need to be doing right now. That's actually the kind of, I feel like capacity is working it now. Because it really is, I mean, you know, it's a lot of, I'm working on projects, but it's also. Even if it's like work in another area, you know, a lot of people. Yeah. So that's. I can see the Sarah, like, building. Yeah, like, it's that kind of activity.
yeah. How the HR meetings where you're at right now?
That was my position when I first started. I transitioned to something else. But I kind of wish I had kept the same. Just what we were trying to do. This thing.
We have all this and always looked at that. It's actually. It's not really, it's the. Your job is to make as much money as possible until you can create a stop. We call it the same stuff. And I think that sounds possible.
It's like, it's.
Oh, okay, congratulations. Where's the halfway? Oh, there it is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, congratulations.
We did,
ما شاء الله.
yeah.
ما شاء الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله الكريم وبعد. So we were saying about that al-awwal wal-akhir, and I was mentioning that, there's really only three options when it comes to al-awwal. You can attribute eternality to the world, that it itself has, it's self-existent and has existed forever. B, it wills itself into existence, or C, God created the world, right? One of the ways that they explain pagan belief, paganism really is just taking the qualities that we attribute to God and attributing it to the world, attributing those qualities to the world itself. That's the basis of pagan belief, is that the things that we see in God, they see, no, it's in the world itself. My point in mentioning this is that when it comes to al-awwal, everybody must believe in something, because no one knows. The Quran even says this. This is, I was once being interviewed at NYU, and they asked me, what was my favorite verse of the Quran? And I said, "Ma ashadduhum khalqa as-samawati wal-ardi wa la khalqa anfusihim." Allah says in the Quran, I did not make them witnesses to the creation of the heavens and earth. Meaning, you weren't there. Ma ashadduhum khalqa as-samawati wal-ardi. You weren't there. The beginning, you weren't there. You don't know, you weren't there. Wa la khalqa anfusihim. I didn't even make you a witness to your own creation. You weren't even there for that. You weren't, when you were created, when you were willed and brought into existence, you weren't even there for that. How dare you have an opinion that God didn't create this, God didn't create you? How do you know? You weren't there, right? Thinking about the names, we're doing 4 names today: al-Zahir, al-Batin, al-Awwal, wal-Akhir. Thinking about al-Zahir, wal-Batin, this also for me, when I think about al-Zahir, wal-Batin, the manifest and the hidden, or the manifest and the subtle, it helps to explain disbelief. I don't know if you've ever had this musing, but I know that I've had a musing where I think, there are things that I think, astaghfirullah, if God did this, it would make it more clear that He is the creator. So one of the things I thought, if people didn't look like their parents, what if I just had a baby and the baby was just white? Because who else so will? God creates however He wants. And this is what I got. But no, the Jashi looks just like me. Whenever I walk around with the Jashi, people say, "You are the father." So one time I was walking down the street with the Jashi, and somebody said the line from The Color Purple, out of pack. Out of pack. I said, do we look that similar?
Yes.
Yes. I said, really?
Since day one.
Yeah, he said, so I said, people look like their parents. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to make it clear that He is al-Musawwir, He is the one who gives forms, Allah will make it just random. Like I can have a baby, he just look daisy. Well, Musawwir, Allah, this is what Allah gave me. It would be more clear. Then I thought, no. Allah says in the Quran that belief is a predisposition. It's something that's there. And disbelief is a predisposition. Allah says in the Quran, if Allah opened the sky and people went ascending into the sky and coming down, right? And you ask them, who could do this but God? They would only say, what? Our eyes have deceived us. This was some kind of optical illusion. Something made us think that we were doing that. Saying that for some people, it's not that the signs aren't obvious, because the signs are obvious. He's a Zahir. They don't believe. And even if they saw things that you think are more obvious, this does not mean that they will become believers. The second thing I thought is something that is only Zahir with no Batin would quickly be taken for granted. I think, whenever I think, and I'm stuck for the, I don't know if I should be doing this, but whenever I imagine myself to be, I don't know if I think, well, how should God be? Stuck for a while. How should God be? Whenever I'm thinking, how should the world be? God really wanted this. This is suggesting that there is something wrong with the way God is. And whenever I think that, I think, you have many people from many different traditions that believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala unquestionably. God exists. It's something they know inherently, something inscribed in their souls, just the way that God is. They know. Sometimes I'm thinking, well, if God was like this, no. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is exactly the way he is. And I was speaking in Detroit over the weekend. I had an eventful weekend, man. I was in Detroit on Friday, and then I was in New York on Saturday visiting my wife's grandmother, who turned 103. And it's still going strong. Good, decent eyesight. Hearing is getting a little bad, but still recognizes you, remembers your name. I was looking, saying, 103 years old. Witnessed World War I and World War II. I'm like, wow, she's 103. And still going strong. I said, she might be the oldest person ever, recorded history. But I was thinking that she's a fervent Christian woman. But for some people, belief in God there's no doubt. So why are you thinking that if this was if the world wasn't like this, or if this didn't happen, then it would be easier? No, it's exactly the way it's supposed to be. Those who have faith, they see it clearly, and those who don't will never see it. It's not that something has to be altered, something has to be adjusted. If only this weren't like this, then everybody would have Iman. Those who see it clearly see it clearly. I was mentioning my time in Detroit, and one of the scholars with whom I was presented, he said, the world is ordered so that we can understand that the next world is also ordered. He said, if things were completely random, this would build, perhaps he was just indulging my theory. If it was random, like I could have, a Chinese baby, the world was random like that. Maybe this would confirm your belief that God is definitely in control. How can my baby be Chinese? How can I give birth? Me and my wife produce a child that's white, like is Scottish or something like that. Whoever or someone, God is definitely in control. He said, well, you know what this would do? This would give you the impression that things in the world just happen randomly. At that point, why would there need to be any righteousness? But Allah is showing you certain causes have certain effects. Right? Certain causes have certain effects. When Allah wants to, He disrupts that chain of cause and effect. We call those mu'jizats. But the regular sunnah of God is that certain causes have certain effects. So that you can see that if you are good, if you are righteous, if you are devout, it will have a certain effect. You do this, it has an effect. You invest money, you reap the reward of that investment. You practice, you get better. You work on your free throws, you make your free throws. Because that's another thing I said in the speech. I said, we might think, what if there was more randomness? Like, even if somebody practiced their free throws all the time, Allah just would if they missed all of them. We just be like, the law is in control. I work on shooting free throws 18 hours a day, and I still never made a single one. That would make me say, Allah, this is clearly, no, it's not the will of God that I made a free throw. He said, but what that would do is make you say, well, what's the use of practicing anything? Right? If it's just, so what would be the use of applying yourself in righteousness to refine your soul. You would be predisposed to everything just being right. No, things are ordered so that you can see there's also an order. Akhirah has an order. The next life has an order. The righteous will be near God, they will be rewarded. The unrighteous will be somewhere different. You have to see there's a purpose to this. There's balance to this, right? But and the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Al-Akhir, the last. This is one of those names that it fills you with chills to think. Allah says that on Yom Al-Qiyamah, all of the heavens, all of the planetary systems we know and those we don't know, will be rolled up like a scroll. Rolled up. It's nothing. That the mountains themselves will be like, what? It's like, you take aspirin, the little cotton that's at the top, that's the little carded cotton. That the mountains will be like carded cotton. Right? In Old English, they would call the heavens the firmament. This is an old word. Nobody says that anymore. The firmament. Because they felt like the sky was like almost like a canopy. Like the sky was like almost like the dome of a masjid. Right? And then they believed that God was above that. We had the firmament, and then God was above that. But the reason they called it firmament because it seemed impermeable. It seemed like there's nothing that can be realer than that. And God is saying that's going to be rolled up just like that. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call, where are the kings, the rulers of the world now? All of the people who arrogated themselves in the world, where are they now? On that day, al-mulku lillah. Now the entire dominion is unquestionably his. Now it's known there's nothing else exists. And things will be the way they were at the beginning, it will just be Allah. And then things will be brought back into existence. The scales will be established, and justice will be established, and judgment will be established, and people will go to their final resting places, or their final abodes, if you will. But not until the name Al-Akhir is made manifest. He's the last. There's nothing else, right? So these are some impressions from Al-Awwal, Al-Akhir, Al-Zahir, and Al-Batin. Right? The subtle. I was thinking about the subtle, Al-Batin. And I thought, there are certain things that are just, I would call them almost like genuine human universals, right? Genuinely universal things that just, we see them occurring over and over in human cultures. We see them occurring over and over in kind of the traditions of human beings. One of those is that things tend to be valued more with exclusivity. The more inaccessible and exclusive something is, the more it's valued, right? The more obvious something is, the more it's taken for granted. So if you say, for instance, the Arabs, they say, إِذَا ظَهَرَ السَّبَبْ ظَهَرَ الْعَجَبْ. If you understand how something works, it doesn't amaze you. إِذَا ظَهَرَ السَّبَبْ. If you understand how something operates, it doesn't even strike you as miraculous. It doesn't impress you. The only thing that impresses you is something subtle, something, the word is inscrutable, something that you can't really, that I can't completely figure this out. These are the things that continue to stimulate your imagination. I can't really. So this is why every poet is confounded by what? Love. You know why? Because there's something we don't understand. How does a person go from being a complete stranger to being the person about whom maybe you care the most? Put my phone in my pocket down when I said that. How does it? No. This is, I'm making a very serious point. Like a very serious point. You know, in other animals, they have mating rituals, but marriage is not a thing. Like people stay like pair bonds that last forever. That's a human thing. It's not like a pair bond and they stay together forever. It's not like that. They mate, they procreate, and people move on. Sometimes it's immediate. In some animals, it's immediate, right? Right. The impregnation happens and then get away from it. Right. Some human beings are like that too. Usually from the male side, impregnation happens and he's gone. Right. But you do have pair bonds where it's like other organisms they live in groups, but it's usually a same wind connection. It's a connection based on blood. There's no complete stranger that's allowed into that group. It's a connection based on blood. We're all the same class of primates or whatever, right? I'm no zoologist, you know that. I don't know what I'm talking about. It is a human thing that a person can be a complete stranger. You feel something for them. And then all of a sudden, this is the most important person to you in the world. That's what I would have said at your wedding if you invited me. Yeah. If I said it, everybody would say, oh. Right? They're the most important thing in the world to you. Why do poets write about that? Why do people? Because it's mysterious. Out of 7 billion people in the world, this person right here, this person, something about them. So that's interesting. There's 7 billion people in the world. This person, and we even use terms like soulmate. This person right here, just her. It's mysterious. This is why it's still something that stimulates the imagination. You have some filmmakers that they can make romantic comedies for the next 50 years and have good careers. And when they die, somebody else can do it. We'll never get tired of hearing about love. You realize as long as human beings have been trading stories, they've been talking about love. You never get tired of it. Nobody ever say, hey man, that's enough. Love, okay, we get it. Right now, I could release a short book of love stories. And if it was well written and marketed well, it could still be a bestseller. Nobody's tired of love. Why? Because it's mysterious. Allah's al-Batin. That's the other thing. If Allah was just al-Zahir, manifest, so much that there was no mystery to God. It's hard for us to imagine this as Muslims, but Allah could be taken for granted. It'd be, oh yeah, that's just Allah. Yeah, that's not. We understand everything about that. Yeah, it's just, God is nothing. But there's enough, Batin, there's enough that is subtle that we continue thinking about God. And our species has been doing this from the dawn of its existence and until the last person, people will be thinking about Allah. That's from Allah's subtlety. If Allah was just Zahir, we could get tired of Allah. When I say Zahir, I mean, if Allah was so manifest that we understood everything about God. No big deal. But like love, there will always be things that, cause you to squint when thinking about God. That is a part of what roots your devotion. One theologian, a Western theologian, he said the fundamental quality of belief in God is mysterium tremendum. This is a Latin term. Mysterium tremendum, that there are things about God that are mysterious. That's why you believe. If there was no mystery, it'd be, that's easy. No, el-batin. When I'm explaining this to my kids, I say el-batin. Those are the attributes of Allah that keep you on your toes. Those ones that you say, I understand this, but not completely. I understand that Allah is God, but everything about how, who, it's subtle. Right? And so, to conclude, that balance between al-Zahir and al-Batin, those things that are manifest, clear, and evident, and those things that are subtle. Ninja status. Ninja status. But those things that are hidden and those things that are subtle, that is what makes God God. Some of it is Zahir, and some of it is Batin. And lastly, I'll say, that is the thing that makes Iman, Iman. If Allah was just Zahir, there would be no faith. You would need faith. Right? The relationship would be different in character. It would be like, I don't know, acknowledgement. Like, yeah. Does one need to have faith in the sun? The sun is the most Zahir thing in existence, without doubt. The sun is just Zahir. There's no Batin with this. It's just Zahir. It's there, it's clear, it's undeniable. It's Zahir. You need to have faith that it's there. No, you just look up, it's there. Right? And because you can just look up, it's there, your feeling toward it, if you're being honest, it's kind of like, you take a breath, it's just Zahir. It's there. It's there. Right? If Allah was just Zahir, maybe we would relate to him in that way. Acknowledge him. But because Allah is Zahir and Batin, we have faith in God. This is what provides the basis for the depth of the relationship. And certain aspects of God are hidden, are not manifest, they are subtle. So we'll stop there for questions. والأخي طبعا أنت تحكي بالعربي ولا نحن يعني اليوم نستمع قليلا الحمد لله وتأخذ يعني الأشياء يعني قصيرة يعني من الدرس ويعني حتى بالترجمة نحن اليوم نتكلم عن يعني الصفة الظاهر والصفة الباطن والصفة الأول والصفة الآخر لله سبحانه وتعالى وليست يعني من ناحية اعتقادية ولكن من ناحية روحية إن شاء الله. Questions, comments, ideas? Yes.
So in terms of party business, right? One from however, let's say you are going to a business with someone who's not, do we expect them, do we also hold them to the same Islamic standards?
Wow, that's a good question. Wow, I actually don't. I've never thought about that.
Well,
That if I was forming a partnership with a Christian and his money came from liquor, but liquor is halal and his own sharia, his understanding of, and he's bringing, that's what he's putting into the partnership. Would it be permissible for me to partner with him? If his money.
well, in general, I mean, let's say in general, we don't know what the source, their source of money is coming from, right? We expect them to be, let's say, at their. But that doesn't mean, you know.
Well, generally, I mean, here's the thing. Shar'an, You have things that are, and this is why there's always a difference between fatwa and taqwa. Fatwa is a thing, taqwa is another thing. Shara, in terms of your legal responsibility, I do not have to investigate the sources of anybody's money. That's not our responsibility. Nor do I have to investigate how anybody procures anything that's selling to me. If I see a person say, for sale, I don't have to investigate, well, how'd you get it? Where did it come from? Right? Did you steal it? How did you acquire it? I'm just making a transaction. If it's halal for me to make that transaction. Taqwa, however, is because I want God's blessing. I am interested myself, although it's not my legal responsibility. It's not my legal responsibility.
Which is not.
It's not, again, it's not my fault. If I go into a store, I don't have to ask, where'd you get this? No, I just pick it up and take it to the register. Right? That would be an undue burden that's placed on me if I have to like investigate. However, in my own wara, in my own carefulness in my relationship with Allah, I am interested in where things come from. What I suggest is have a balance. If something is like obvious, right, then stay away from it. If something with even just a little bit of looking, like if all it takes is for me to actually look down the street and see somebody breaking into a car, coming to me saying, "You cell phone charger?" Like, all I have to do is go like this. I should go like this. Right? But if somebody comes to me and asks, would you like to buy a cell phone charger? Again, now we all have some instincts. I might look at the person and say, "No, I'm good." Right? But that but that's based on me making an assessment that I think you stole that. Right? Especially if you're telling me, yeah, just give me $2. Any buy cell phone charger? Yeah, just give me $2. No, I'm good, man. Rehab, bro. Rehab. Put it down. Put it down. I remember, man, fun, you appreciate this, man. I just go, Lil Shaheed from the West Side. I just built his house in Jackson. We stayed on Jackson. Dope fiends everywhere. And sometimes, man, we go pray Isha to the masjid. And he would see them, and he would say, "The crack pipe, put it down. Bow down." The crack pipe, put it down. Bow down. Right? And what was amazing was that, man, see people like that. I know it's not your question, I'm sorry.
No.
People like that, man, they should have had funding to do dawah. We should have, when you see talent like that, that kind of talent is supposed to be invested in. When I think about that man, it would be people on their way to shoot dope. He can stop them, have a 10-minute conversation about Allah. And some of them would take shahada and still go get the dope. Still go get the dope. Shut up, man. Watch out. I got to go get the thing. I'm sick. I'm sick, man. I got to go get this. I know Allah, God. I know Muhammad. I need this, man. Come on, brother. But that people that had that kind of connection to the people, we should have been investing in them. Instead of letting them do whatever odd jobs they were doing trying to make ends meet. But I say that to say, use discretion. You're not under any responsibility to investigate the sources of anybody else's money. You only have to investigate the sources of your own. It's not my responsibility to investigate where does he get his money? If you take for granted that a person's money is lawful, you can do that, right? But if it comes to your knowledge, somebody is telling you, "Yeah, man, my liquor store is doing great. And you want to go into business?" I'm okay. Right? And often people will tell you. They'll tell you. You know, yeah, man, I'm looking to partner on some real estate with my cousin. I'm looking to partner on some real estate, man. You know, little strip clubs, they're doing pretty well for me, man. You know what I'm saying? You want to get in with me? I say, oh no, I'm okay. I want to keep some butter in my money, man. Oh no, go ahead. You know what I mean? But where it becomes questionable is that I don't know what it means when something is halal for a person that's not halal for me. Because even under Islamic rule, Christians used to drink.
So the issue comes into interest, right? So like somebody's like, let's say they're working in a bank, right? Their main source of income, whether or not like in general, right, not direct, let's say like data engineer or whatever, right? There's some indirect element.
Well, this is what I heard one scholar say, and he gave this fatwa as a source of mercy and facilitation for people. If somebody has money and its sources are mixed, so like a person that has a liquor store, but he also has candy, he has snacks and things like that. If he comes to do business with you, you can trust, or you can say that I do business with halal money, which is different than a person. Everything in the store is halal. So a person has, a bank, for instance, some of it is fees, some of it is this, some of it is that, some of it, but the major part of it is interest.
It's salary wise, right?
Right, the major part of it is interest, but some of it is fees and other, ATM fees. I don't, you know what I'm saying? This scholar, the Sheikh Amin Khalwadi, scholar in Hanafi law, a mufti, I believe I heard him say, you can trust, or if a person has, sources of income that are mixed. I have some things that are haram, some things that are halal. The example given, like a liquor store that also sells other things. That person comes to do business with you. So let's say I have a clothing store, and the liquor store owner comes in to buy some clothes with me. Because that was the question, was that this person owns a liquor store. He comes to do halal business with me, like I have a restaurant. Can I accept the money that he makes from alcohol? I said, yes, you can accept it, because he has other sources of income as well. He has alcohol, he has chips, he has sodas, he has, what do you sell with alcohol? Peanuts or whatever. And then when he comes into my store, the money that he spends with me is from the peanuts and the soda. Right? You can look at it that way. The money that he spends with me is from the peanuts and the soda and the chips, everything else. I don't take the money from the alcohol. Right? Now, if the person has all haram, the person says, all I said is cocaine. No incense, no oils, just coke. That is a person you should avoid. There's no mixture. It's not like, well, I sell cocaine, but I also got this little screen printing T-shirt business.
Right.
The biggest drug dealer in my neighborhood, he sold T-shirts.
Shirts that say buy my cocaine.
No, he had screen printing, and what was crazy about it? This is actually my best friend's brother. What was crazy about it was that you would listen to him talking about T-shirts, and you would think that he was just a T-shirt vendor. He would be so passionate about the T-shirt. But I just got this new 2-ply shirt out of Pakistan. When they see this T-shirt, they bro, the quality of this piece. This is good. I said, man, you're so passionate about T-shirts, why you still selling cocaine? Cocaine is when they don't want the T-shirt. The quality of this T-shirt. I'm like, man, you're so passionate about T-shirts, why you still selling cocaine? Why don't you sell T-shirts? And I would always be challenging him like that. Well, it seems like the T-shirt is where your heart is, not the cocaine. Just sell the T-shirts. Just sell the T-shirts. Right? But mashallah, bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Yes.